Good morning, this is Keith from iDigitalMedium, and today's demonstration is frequency does not matter. What I mean by that is when people look at the experiment, so they look at the radio, the first tendency will be to assume that because it's radio, therefore it must be invalidated. And the reason for that is because if we hear other radio signals or radio broadcasts or any of that sort of interference, it could, of course, in a very real reality, be mistaken to be non-physical personalities. So today, just to combat that, we use the frequency of 25.5 megahertz. We've done that for years. And the reason we've done that is, give me 1 second and I'll show you. It's a clip I'd like to show you. Our radios were being affected by electricity in California within the first year of radio work, which drove us to continue. Here's that clip now.
I feel that working with other researchers and talking to them has helped the energy contact field. Is that correct?
I would not argue that that is not easily understood. However, I was asking about energy contact fields and how, if they were important, as in the thought and intent that an experimenter projects, especially when combined with other people of like mind, is what we were referring to. The answer was affirmative, or the answer was essentially that you're correct. It's the something of each person. You're correct. So we continued. That's why we continued radio research. And as we move different places, being radio, the nature of radio, it changes. So today I woke up and I get bored of the same old stuff, just like you, all three of you that are watching this. And so I decided today to demonstrate that frequency does not matter. We've changed our radio frequency from 25.5 megahertz. Let me spell this out to give a visual. For those of you not radio inclined or electronically inclined, which I was not particularly when I began this work. We were at 25,500 kilohertz, which is essentially, what is that, 25500, and then add 000 for hertz, if I'm not mistaken, which basically amounts to that, right? That's how many hertz. That's the frequency of the radio. Today, we have dropped our radio down. We use the same radio as Annabella Cardoso, Dr. Annabella Cardoso, used in her experiments. I've liked it and used it for years. It's digital. We are currently down today, for demonstration purposes, at 150 kilohertz, which means 150,000. Okay, so we went from 25 million hertz down to 150. 25 million to 150. And the demonstration will be that the voices are still there, the influence is still there, which makes this science. The effects of mediumship, etc., are unknown, but I will say that they are taking the background. They're not in the forefront. What's in the forefront is, what are we able to measure and determine from the things that we are experimenting with and the results that we're able to achieve? And this is also another reason why we're working on developing artificially induced conditions for voice, meaning no radio. Nix the radio, and when we still get voices that you'll be able to understand, it'll be quite difficult and challenging for someone to explain how those voices are addressing them from inside the computer. I'm sure they'll try, but that is the objective. That's where we're headed. The radio is because it seems to be the most natural, besides the live filtering I do, which you can see in front of you. It's the most natural method of them being able to speak. It's organic, I guess they would call it. Whereas when I do the artificially induced, it's complete, it's development. It's not accepted, it's not even understood, let alone the implications. So today we switched the radio to 150 hertz, kilohertz, so 150,000 hertz. Here's the radio. This is a picture of me up in the attic about an hour ago. I woke up, jumped in the attic because that's where I decided to put this to kind of keep it out of the way by itself. If you look, you'll see it's the radio that Dr. Annabella Cardoso uses, the ICF, Sony ICF shortwave 7600 GR. It's getting a little rusty up there, which is unfortunate because it's a $200 radio. But for the price of experimentation, I prefer to keep it a little bit isolated. It's not isolated up there. It's obviously subject to all the conditions of the entire house and the electrical noise. So we're going to go ahead and take a look and listen to it. I'm going to demonstrate now how the electrical hum is present and how we have a filter to remove that. Here's the filter. For those of you that are electronically engineer minded, here's the hum only of the 60 Hertz and its harmonic multiples. Rather joyful. Oh, I guess you'd like to hear it. Without filter. With filter. Surprise, the magic of electronics. Okay, so let's go ahead and tune this. This is the same filtering that we've been doing on the other radio. The only thing I've done is I've added the hum for the electricity. But you're going to see the effect that that has. Let's go ahead and tune it, same as you've seen me do over the last 5 weeks. For anybody watching on YouTube, they're not going to know what's going on, so let's give them the indication something's happening. Let's tune our second filter. Now in our second, let me mute this. At this frequency, you will hear all electricity, or quite a bit of it, more so than you would ever hear up here. The reason we chose this frequency, again, for those, oh man, I was maximized. Sorry about that, in the heat of the moment. Let's begin again. Frequency the radio was at was 25.5 megahertz, which is 25,500,000 hertz. Frequency we are at today, and it may be today only, is 150 kilohertz, which is 150,000 hertz. Again, here's the filter. There's the hum only. That's electricity. Okay, so your first inclination is going to be, oh my God, that electricity sounds horrible. It's horrible for experimentation. That would be mistaken. energy is energy is energy. And no matter what form of energy you use, it will be used for experimentation, including electricity. In fact, electricity has harmonics at 60 hertz or 120 hertz or whatever the increment may be, depending on where you are, which sort of almost mimics the harmonics that we naturally have in our voice, to some degree, that is. So let's go ahead and let's retune our radio after turning the lights on in the house. And now we still have voice. Again, as I must point out quite frequently, when I demonstrate what I perceive to be voice, or potential interpretations of voice, it's still open to interpretation. In fact, I'd rather not interpret it at all. It simply means that I'm indicating what's to come. So until we're successful and we can understand that voice, none of it matters. But the point is, the more people that are aware that it is a possibility, the more people that believe it's a possibility for, well, however you refer to them, people in spirit, non-physical personalities, etc., have the ability, because they are energy, to affect energy, as we also have that same ability, then the more likely it will become possible. If everybody thinks it's impossible, it doesn't mean it's going to make it impossible, because there's always somebody that knows that it is. But you're certainly going to slow it down and slow down progress. It doesn't mean be gullible. It doesn't mean to assume that everything I say is for real, and I certainly don't expect anybody to think that. That's why we put the experiment screen up. We say, go there, do your experiments, do as you please, do as you wish. Try Reiki symbols, try meditation, try listening to rock music, try anything that you can to affect and influence on the radio. And also participate if you experience things that are, I would say, dramatic. Then let us know. Share them with us. So far, we've had a lot of people visit, pop in, not quite sure what it is. I haven't explained it fully yet. That's a lot of work. And also, a lot of it I don't understand. So I'm just going to portray it as what it is. It's an experiment radio. Come do your experiments. You can affect it. And this is Keith Clark from iDigitalMedium. Concluding the lesson, frequency does not matter. I will end with one more thing. The only way frequency matters, it is relevant to the effects that are induced upon that frequency. So if I tune to an AM radio station, I hear voice, broadcast voice, not a good thing, right? So in that instance, it matters. But anywhere else where I have no radio broadcast voice or anything else, we have been equating spiritual development and or paranormal phenomena to frequency. But we've also been told many times it's not an exact correlation to what we consider to be frequency, though some of the mental concept and structure might imitate it. Meaning, we don't know anything yet. We really don't know anything yet. There's a lot of teachings out there, and we have suspicions of certain things, but we don't have, at least the public doesn't have, the scientific equipment to be able to actually measure these things yet. However, we are understanding more about what it means. Again, this is science. Frequency does not matter. This is the conclusion of this demonstration. Thank you, and have a good day. This is Keith Clark from iDigitalMedium. This stream is live 24 hours a day at YouTube. Just type in iDigitalMedium. Look for the one with the little red live button. Bye.